Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Public Domania. How are you all doing? It is another year, a new year, and that means another year's worth of content has fallen into that beautiful, beautiful place called the public domain, where a giant corporation no longer owns whatever piece of media we're talking about, but we do. Everyone, collectively, you, me, and everyone, the public at large, now owns Steamboat Willie, specifically, not Mickey. Mickey was a later thing. Steamboat Willie, which is definitely a different thing, even though, he's the same thing. So we have that, and, silent Mickey Mouse cartoon called Plain Crazy that was actually produced first, but, the full sound Steamboat Willie was actually the one that was released, first, even though this Plain Crazy was produced earlier. People weren't interested in picking it up for distribution, and then when the Jazz Singer came out, Walt Disney, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on the actual animator's name. It's like an interesting name, like something, who was the main animator. Anyway, they decided to do a full sound cartoon short, which ended up being Steamboat Willie. But before we get to that, I did want to talk about some of the precursors to Steamboat Willie, because Steamboat Willie, if you don't know, is famous because it helped popularize the full sound sync cartoon short with full post-production audio that was like made for the short. So up until this point, there were previous animators who had, of course, done animation that was set to music or with music that was intended to go with it, but it wasn't stuff that was fully done in post-production to match the animation. So some earlier examples of stuff like this, for instance, from a series called Coco Song Cartoon. These are by Max Fleischer and his brother, famous for helping develop rotoscope, the process of sort of tracing animation cells from live action footage. If you've seen cartoons that kind of look weirdly accurate, like Snow White, Fleischer's Superman stuff, some of the stuff in Heavy Metal, that's rotoscoping. So really, really great pioneer in early animation. This is a few years prior to Steamboat Willie, to get an example of why Steamboat Willie was as big of a deal as it was at the time and why it was considered a step up in terms of animation. Let's see. Bumble Homestead, thanks for gifting a sub. The audio is going to be pretty scuffed on some of these. I apologize. They're almost 100 years old, so. Piper Draws and stuff, thanks for gifting 3 tier 1 subs. Thank you. So, to compare it to something like Steamboat Willie, I want to point out, of course it's still in black and white, but we also have, like, very undefined backgrounds. Things are mostly static, other than the character that is currently moving. The background in this case is very simple, it's just a white wall. The action that is happening is pretty much the only thing that is going on. The primary action is what is moving, and other stuff doesn't quite as much. Think of like an anime TV show or a cheaper TV animation where if someone's talking, it's a tight shot of the face and it's just the parts that are like talking moving. It's a budgetary thing, you know. Oh, also, this is fun. These were used as, like, I'm not kidding, in theaters people would sing along. This was supposed to be like a sing-along short. So they developed and popularized the use of follow the bouncing ball. So if you're ever been like, hey, where did that come from? The whole idea of the follow the bouncing ball thing. These. So they did a lot of shorts like this. Not all of them were sound shorts. I think around 30-something of this series were without sound, but as talkies were novel at the time, they were new, their most popular ones were the ones with sound. This was the most popular of that series. It came out a little bit later, and you can see sort of the evolution of the animation, as well as a clearer narrative going on in the actual short. We also kind of have a funny animal, which is, if you don't know, the category that, like, Mickey and these sort of shorts are. They're like funny animal is the genre. So... Did I see the alien at the Florida Mall riot? No, I did not. DM Trey says, Hannah, you missed your shot at a wonderfully cringe pun. We can have Steamboat Willie. Penis? Penis joke? Low-hanging Willie. Your link did not show up. Links don't show up in YouTube chat. So we see an evolution. There's more stuff going on. Like, it's an actual setting that's recognizable here. You can tell it's a house, but things are still quite sketchy. The walls are undetailed, but I'd argue that the actual articulation on this character is better. I do also want to point out, unfortunately, that a lot of funny animal shorts have their roots in minstrel show bits. So if any part of your brain is like, this feels weird and off-putting, you're probably picking up on that. Oh, you did Spokane Dog Man. I gotta get back to you. I just haven't had time. Yes, the song that was the intro music to this stream is the main song that is played in the Steamboat Willie short, actually remixed. Ironically enough, the original Steamboat Willie short was produced for a low budget because, you know, Walt Disney. And I know someone else posted the other guy's name, who I really want to give credit to here because he never gets the fucking credit. iWorks, thank you. iWorks, they didn't have a lot of money to put the short together, so they used songs from the public domain, some of which came from a tradition of minstrel shows. Yep, Turkey in the Straw also plays in Steamboat Willie. It's funny to imagine at the time how this was so still novel. The idea of, like, moving pictures. Like, I'm not even talking about necessarily live action stuff, but the idea of, like, cartoons. Cartoon shorts with synced sound. That being a novelty in and of itself is wild to think about. Content these days is just so prolific, and so many people produce it, it's just everywhere. We don't think about how recently that this kind of stuff was, like, a brand new medium that was just developing. Oh, thanks, Profane Priestess. Harusama says, as a kid I was desperate to watch Steamboat Willie. I knew it existed and wanted to set the see the first Mickey cartoon. Then this VHS came out with some early Mickey cartoons. They put Steamboat Willie last, and I was so impatient to get to it. Then I watched it. Young me was not impressed. Oh no. It'd be like trying to show a younger person something like The Exorcist today, and it just doesn't hit, you know? We all become desensitized to things, and I'm not just talking about in the case of, like, things that scare people in society for, like, Exorcist. Spectacle and novelty wear off quickly for people, so, you know, you gotta keep upping the bar. Things are faster and more flashy, and it's a whole thing.
And join in, everybody.
Here's the bouncing ball bit again. And again, that takes up like most of the short. Over half of it is the sing-along, which is interesting. So, the same year, a few months prior to Steamboat Willie being released in theaters, there was an earlier cartoon short that did all of its sound and post-production. And it was this one. It was called Dinner Time by Paul Terry. Just thought it's worth pointing out. It didn't popularize the genre, but it was earlier than Steamboat Willie. I wanna be spanked. I'm not gonna have you post that just because even though you're quoting it, it's gross. It might be, like I said. There's, minstrel show inspirations for stuff like this, unfortunately. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, that was one of the reasons I brought this up. It was because it's one of the earliest examples of, like, a dialogue or voice character in animation for something like this that's, like, synced. That cat making those noises. I assume with photophone synchronization, Anodyne Quinine points out, or says, which I assume means that's the actual name of the thing that's happening, or used. Ashiboo with 38 months says, I can't believe how long I've been subbed. It really doesn't feel like it's been that long. Did 2023 even really happen? Can you prove it? Conspiracy, right? Exactly. It's kind of an interesting, almost meta joke about animation, like cells or stills. Interesting. Huh. Man, he's just eating all those goddamn bones. Why are they... Okay. Alright, feels a little unmotivated. J. Rodimus with 25 months says, this Bendy and the Ink Machine cartoon look weird. The bones! The bones. I don't think Skeleton Dance is in the public domain until next year or the year after. I'm not positive, though. Benekagami says, the classics being unimpressive now is common because they walked so modern stuff could run. Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z are underwhelming to modern anime fans because they set the trends that are considered old hat by now. Some classics can hold up, but they have to be really ahead of their time or timeless gems for that to happen. Oh, of course. Of course. That's true of, like, every medium. Like, you can't go back and play a lot of Atari 2600 games and have as much fun as you might with a modern game. Some hold up, but not for long periods of time, usually. Make Mickey the villain of the new Shrek movie. That would unironically be hilarious if they had a villain that was basically Steamboat Willie. That would be so funny. I think the ET on Atari thing is overstated. Like, it's not a good game, but compared to half the things on the Atari, it's more emblematic of the quality control issues on the Atari than anything else. But it didn't solely do it. It was just emblematic of Atari's bad business decisions at the time and the state of the market. At the time, Atari just had unreasonable business expectations, too. They thought that the sales of the consoles was just going to continue on, like, the insane trend that it was on, because, like, the Atari was almost a fad. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still the originator of a lot of, you know, what became modern video gaming. It certainly wasn't the first home game console system. The Odyssey, I think, was that, other than, like, Pong console stuff. But, like, I don't know, the Atari stuff was big in the mainstream and then kind of went away. And they expected that to just keep growing, at least linearly, and it didn't. So they produced, like, more copies of E.T. than they actually had consoles at the time sold, because they expected it to sell that well that it was going to push more consoles, and, well, that was about when the whole thing collapsed anyway, so. Anyway. So it's time for two things. Firstly, we have Plain Crazy, which is a silent one. This was produced before Steamboat Willie, but it was released later. So this is also in the public domain. I do want to point out, from what I have heard, YouTube is being weird about this in that they haven't taken it off their automatic, like, detection system for copyright, but once you, like, dispute it and are like, hey, this is in the public domain, they take it off and it's fine. So I do want to point out, if the stream dips on YouTube for a second, that's because they haven't updated their system yet. I promise this is in the public domain. I have double, triple checked this and Steamboat Willie. They're fine. Other people have uploaded them in their totality to YouTube. They're good. It's just that YouTube has not automated, or the system that removes things from their, like, auto-detect copyright thing. So, if it dips, I am on Twitch. So, let's go. Oh, this just has a generic copyright-free song over it because, again, it's like a silent thing. So it's just to give it kind of a anything. Ashy Boo says, I've seen so many folks thinking that Mickey is public domain and they're talking about making t-shirts or whatever, and I'm worried someone is going to get sued into dust by Disney. They'll figure out the difference between copyright and trademark pretty quickly if they attempt that. This is the silent version. It just has arbitrary generic music put over it. There's actually no music to this. This is a copyright, like, free song that has been recently put over this just to give it a soundtrack. Something I'd point out is that even though the background is still primarily white, you can see more of a gradient and detailing in the hills to give a sense of depth. It's still rudimentary by today's standards, but it's already ahead of the competition that we watched that came out like the year prior or even months prior. We also have a lot of motion happening at once on screen, more than one character moving. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters all doing actions at the same time. Yes, someone used to play music in the theaters. There used to be someone who actually played music. Sometimes films would come with, like, sheet music. Sometimes they weren't, and the music person would just, like, come up with whatever they thought was appropriate for the scene. Okay, Charles Lindbergh. Interesting. I think I can get rid of Boxy, by the way. We're probably good. Fenekagami says, to build on my earlier point, this also applies to representation too. Think of how more human stories have become. A lot of modern media critics on the left who look at older progressive stuff struggle to meet it on its own terms and will complain about how piecemeal queer representation is. Modern audiences really don't know how much of a struggle it was to even get non-toxic masculinity into media, let alone good minority representation. Yeah? Stromboli says, my favorite George Carlin joke is, what time is it? Either it's 12:15 or Mickey has an erection. Is that a joke about the Mickey Mouse watch? Lindbergh was pretty yikesy, but that's a whole different thing. Receive a medal from the German High Chancellery! Ho-ho! A little Lindbergh humor for anyone out there. Hydrate. I wonder, this can't be the first cartoon animated depiction of, like, an automobile, right? There's gotta be ones prior to this. It's gotta be a very early one, though, because this is certainly a car that he's trying to turn into a plane. It had the hand crank thing on the front that he's using as the place to put the propeller, which is kind of a funny gag. The third short, which includes sound, went into the public domain too. Thank you. Yeah, it was uploaded 4 days ago. Thank you. Wait, I missed something. What? How did a turkey get here? Wait, what? I saw him stretch it into a thing. Okay, a turkey just walked up. Enter turkey, stage right. Cool. Ow. The abject cruelty towards animals in old animated shorts is so funny to me in an uncomfortable way. Oh. There she is. Put a shirt on, you hussy. Turns out Mickey and Minnie are actually just in sort of like a all-you zombies situation, or a predestination situation. I'm very happy for them. Is this one of the ones with racism? Like the very obvious racism and not just the underlying minstrel show DNA that exists in these kind of shorts? Oh, that's funny. But ow. Mickey, you gotta ask before you grab someone's udders. Come on. All the visual surrealism, like that shot, this whole first-person shot here, I gotta go back and show that again. That's awesome. Look at that. That's gotta be so ahead of its time. Also, that kind of looks like Felix the Cat. I don't know if that's intentional. It looks like he's about to hit Felix the Cat with his airplane. Yeah, look at that, and then it uses the dark... Okay, yeah, that's excellent. That's such a cool shot. Huh. That's great. Oh, wow, and then it, like, pulls out of the first person. Huh. I think Felix the Cat was already a thing by this time. Might not be, but I thought he was. But I'm such a nice guy. Oh god. Doing loop-de-loops in the plane because of the implication. Oh god, here it comes. Is it... Oh no, how bad is it gonna be? Probably real bad. I'm gonna go ahead and put up Boxy again. Actually. called the Mickey system. Oh my god, Mickey's a sociopath. Oh god, she's so afraid. No, this isn't funny. God damn it. Yikes. Oh, that's not consensual, Mickey. Bloomers to parachute. Oh, yeah. That predates the Wile E. Coyote looking down before falling bit by quite a bit. I don't know if that's the first instance of that joke in a cartoon, but notable. Well, Mickey Mouse started off as a little creep, didn't he? Alright, so, like I said, that was produced first, but it was released later after this, Steamboat Willie, which gained acclaim for its use of sound and, like I said, if you missed it, YouTube's being weird about this, apparently, so if the thing goes down on YouTube for a little bit, I'm within my rights to do this. It is in public domain. They just have not removed it from their system yet, and other people who have shown it, once they say, like, hey, this is public domain, it's fine. So, I'm just gonna play it. If you want to make sure that you see the whole thing, Twitch. So here we go, Steamboat Willie. I will point out, Mickey Mouse is the trademark of the Walt Disney Corporation. Okay. So already I want to point out, background more detailed than any of the stuff that we've seen before. Of course, like I said before, compared to today, it's rudimentary, but the fact that it's even a gradient like this and is showing mountains that are supposed to have depth and shadow, step up compared to the other things we've seen. The animation of the boat itself paddling through the water and all that animation of, like, the fluidity of it, crazy for the time. And of course all the smokestack stuff. And that's the most people know about this short, is that part, especially because Walt Disney Studios has started using that as the logo for their animation division, I imagine to help strengthen the trademark arguments that are going to come up in court regarding Steamboat Willie moving forward. Trademarks never run out, by the way. They can last in perpetuity. This character went on to, of course, be the inspiration for Pete, same way that this character is basically Mickey, but not quite. Same idea. Something I notice about Mickey Mouse versus another animated character that's about as famous, Bugs Bunny. Mickey Mouse tends to be an underdog figure. I don't know if you've ever noticed this. Mickey Mouse is an underdog that sometimes has to fight against, you know, sort of a ripoff of Bluto from Popeye, like that guy, like Pete. Whereas Bugs Bunny is always in charge. He's never really the underdog, or very rarely is he the underdog. This is the first time Pete was depicted as a cat. Originally, he was a bear. Was that during, like, the Oswald, the Lucky Rabbit days? Hannah Bad explaining Kingdom Hearts. Okay, so there are 15 Xenonarts. And all of them are different, but the same. Yes, Tigger entered the public domain this year. I think the best way to explain Kingdom Hearts is stupid, and it's great to enjoy it. I also like Kingdom Hearts. If I ever said that on stream before, I also like Kingdom Hearts, for the most part. But the story's just dog shit. Just go with the vibes. Just go with it. Just be friends with Goofy and Donald and have a good time. Don't think about it too hard. Just be good and don't be bad and have heart and friendship. Wonder if this was back when Disney was doing the glass trick for backgrounds. You mean the multi-plane camera? That came much later. The multi-plane camera was later, unless you're thinking of something else, or I'm misunderstanding you. Bambi might be the multi-plane camera. Let me actually look. Disney multi-plane camera. No, apparently there's a scene in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs where it's used. So it was there in their first full-length animated feature. I assume that its usage expanded from there, but that was present in at least one shot of the original. Okay. That's cool. Man, they really like the cow udder jokes, huh? That was in the other short, too. Is this a Quentin Tarantino thing? Is this some of the animators maybe? Some thinly disguised fetish? Was Walt doing the voices still at this point? Or was he yet? I know he was the original Mickey. Was he also Minnie? Because all you gotta do is like... My headcanon is this is the same goat from the Vavitch. That's a funny bit. I don't know why. I find that hilarious, turning an animal into a record player. Maybe it's just me because, like, I'm a fan of The Mask, and, like, I like comics or comic book characters that have the Toon Force. So seeing kind of actual early versions of where people came up with a lot of these ideas for visual gags and the visual language of, like, this kind of silly cartoon, it's fun. It's fun to see. I like the Vivitch. I think it's good. Interesting that Mickey had the things on the back of his pants originally, too. Or Willie, in this case, he's called. Because now doesn't he just have them on the front? Am I crazy? Toon Force versus reality warping. Toon Force is basically reality warping, but it goes by the rules of, is it funny? Does it go on cartoon logic? I take it with the rules of Roger Rabbit, basically. When he slips out of the handcuff, and he's like, could you have done that at any time? And Roger's like, no, only when it was funny. That's the limits of Toon Force as far as I'm concerned. You can do it if it's funny. See what I mean? The rampant abuse of cats in animated shorts. People were so mean to cats back in the day. Oh my god. Mickey's gonna get canceled. Oh my god. You can't do this to a cat, Mickey, on the internet. God damn, Mickey's a little shit. Willie's a little shit, sorry. What's Mickey's take on Thanos? Mickey says, ho-ho, why leave a job half-finished, ho-ho! So he abused all the animals and then he just gets to peel potatoes. Okay. Goddamn. Old Mickey was fucking brutal. That's funny. And this was the other one you said was in the public domain? M.H. Sharkbee says, howdy, Hannah, you mentioned the Grinch the other day, so next Chud Watch we need to watch our Grinch bitching about toys. Oh, God. Woke Christmas gifts. Saved. Make sure it's under Chuds. Saved. Oh no. This is definitely gonna be bad, right? Mickey smoking. Like she's wearing a bra, but the implication is that... But is this TOS? Because she is wearing like a bikini thing, right? And normally she's not wearing a shirt. Mickey, because I'm sorry, I'm having trouble interpreting the rules right now. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's Minnie Mouse. It's fine. Uh... He has a drunk ostrich. Okay. Where did people see this when it first came out? Theaters. Shorts before other things, or amongst, like, newsreels and stuff. Yeah, Lady Anne, I think that was actually one that we've already watched, but I think we watched an edited version where that part was cut out. I could be wrong. But yeah, unfortunately. Starch to straighten out the ostrich. Okay. Okay. There's a certain logic to that. Have I done the Mad Doctor? Mm-mm. Rick M says it was very common for mice to be associated with alcoholic ostriches at the time. That seems like an absurd joke, but the world's weird enough. If the Mad Doctor's later, then it's not in public domain. Only stuff from the 1928 year is public domain. And before. And stuff which has not followed certain copyright rules, but that's a whole different thing. The general rule is, as of right now, 1928 or earlier is in the public domain for everything that's like a visual medium like this. In the United States, check your local laws, they vary. And there are exceptions, but that's the general rule. It's alright, Mickey. Happens to everyone. You're good. Oh. Gross. That's a pot for peeing in. Fedekagami says, speaking of Tigger, the author of Winnie the Pooh based Christopher Robin on his son, who grew up to hate this because he hated all the attention it got him. Yeah, sucks to be that person. So that's the stuff that went into the public domain vis-a-vis Mickey/Willie this year. So that's cool. What we're going to watch next is called Lights of New York. This is the first full theatrical length talkie. It was considered theatrical length at the time. Nowadays it would not be considered, but it's about an hour long. So we shall check it out. This is from 1928 as well. I believe this is like a year after The Jazz Singer. This is the story of Main Street and Broadway, a story that might have been torn out of the last night's newspaper. Main Street, 45 minutes from Broadway, but 1,000 miles away. It's funny that this is a talking picture, but they were still very in the mode of silent picture language of film, so this whole intro sequence has what would maybe more effectively be a narration if you're gonna do it. You're probably better off showing, not telling generally, but you know, we're talking about earlier in the history of film and its language. But the fact that it is just like a text at the beginning, really interesting.
Shut off that music box, will you?
Yeah, I kind of figured. The acting in this is probably going to be pretty interesting. I don't know if a lot of these people are going to be people who were silent film actors who now have to act verbally, which does not translate for many people, unfortunately. Or did they bring in people who are normally stage performers, which is probably what you should have done, because they're more used to having to use their voice in the performance. But alright.
That thing makes me homesick for Broadway. Here we've been stuck in this pint-sized town for nearly a month. It's enough to drive a guy goofy.
So where you been all day? I've been waiting for you. Look, there's a kiss from Cinderella.
From who?
It's from Scanlon, and we're okay. The bootleg rap against us has been dropped, and we can go back to the big town tomorrow.
Great. But what are we going to use for money when we get there? Our bootleg joint is empty, and we need dough.
I've been taking care of that.
So they're bootleggers. Interesting. Okay.
You know that barber downstairs? He looks like a cinch to me. And after the talks I've had with him, he thinks that joint of ours is a regular barber shop and not a speakeasy.
But has he got any money?
Not much. But that kid Eddie, whose mother runs this hotel, has got some dough. I got a hunch we can do some business with him. You know, he's crazy to go to New York. I think I got him built up.
Now listen, don't rush him and don't go too strong.
All I can say is, somebody has got to pay our way.
And all I can say is somebody always did.
Again, the performance is very broad, very theatrical, or just everything is very heightened, like they're playing to the back seats.
Closed up for the night, Gene?
Yep. And for all the business I did, I might as well have been closed up all day. You know, Eddie, we're wasting our time in a burg like this. Now, you take Kitty Lewis, for instance. She took a chance, went to New York City, and she's doing fine. What? Since they built that big hotel over there across the street, well, your hotel's not even making expenses. Why don't you have a customer in there for hours at a time? Most of the hicks in this town would like to cut their own hair.
Well, I'm sick of this burg, too.
Excuse me, I've been told that getting your hair cut outside at an actual hairdresser is some kind of human right. It was a big contention in 2020. I don't know if anyone remembers.
Say, listen, I've been to New York enough to know that I belong someplace where I can do something.
Well, me too. Do you know that I'm the best barber in this town?
Yes?
Now, you take those two fellas in room 21 that have been talking to us about going in business with them. They've got one of the best barber shops in New York City. What are we...
By the way, I do want to point out, the next, 5 to 10 years, which I plan on continuing doing this as my job, as long as I can, the next 5 to 10 years of public domain days are going to be fucking amazing. To a lot of you, this might seem like just a normal, public domain day, but, the fact that we are now at the point where we are watching, one of the first... I don't know how to put this. One of the first full-length featured talkies this year means we are about to hit so many old classic films in the next 5 to 10 years as talkies become to proliferate into the public domain generally. It's hard to, and as much as I do enjoy watching silent films with you guys on the internet, it's hard to do. People aren't usually into it for the most part. It's hard to do in an interactive format, but so many talkies coming out is going to be just fantastic.
What are we going to do about that? Are we going in partners with them?
Yeah, Universal monster movies are in that period, so I am so excited that we're going to get to watch, Dracula, and then Frankenstein, and Bride of Frankenstein, a lot of stuff back to back, because, they pumped these movies out, and I have, the 30 movie set or whatever up here, they put so many out, and they're so classic, and so many of them are still worth watching. Like, if you've never watched them, I don't blame you. Older films can be hard to get into if you're not used to it. But, like, the Universal monster movies are a pretty good place to start. I think they're pretty accessible by the standards of a film from that era. They were made for general audiences. They're made to be, for the time, thrilling, interesting, exciting stories. They're tame by today's standards, but I think they can hold your attention as long as you remember the context that they are existing within. Like Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, I think, hold up almost completely. The message is a little weird. I don't know, there's some stuff that's, like, iffy, but I think those movies hold up. In black and white? When? What do you mean?
I don't know. I've told Mother about the proposition. We've talked about it 3 nights already.
Why don't you talk to her again? I've got some money saved up. Why, they'll take us in for $5,000.
All right, I'll do it. You stick around here. I'll go up and have another talk with Mother. This 9 o'clock town is getting on my nerves.
Is next year Action Comics Volume 1, you mean?
Hey, now listen. I'll tend to the office.
Because we're definitely going to go over those two when those go into the public domain. That's Superman and later Batman in Detective Comics.
And you hurry back just as soon as you can get here, will you?
All right, Gene.
Okay, now.
Oh, like me turning my thing black and white.
All right,
Funny.
mister.
Now, never mind that Mr. stuff. Just call me Gene.
All right, Gene. Let me have a blank check, will you?
Why, sure.
Never mind that check, Dan. Give it to me tomorrow.
This fella's pretty lucky. Beat me for 400 at rummy again.
$400 for rummy?
He took me for 600 yesterday.
Gee whiz.
Many's the time he took me for plenty.
Well, Gene, we just came down to say goodbye. We're leaving for New York in the morning.
Yeah, you are?
Yes.
Got to get back to the big town on some business.
Tomorrow, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about that proposition we were talking over? Don't, we get in on that?
I'm going to watch the animated Crisis on Infinite Worlds. I hope Prime is in it. I don't know what that is. Like the animated Crisis on Infinite Earths DC thing they're doing. I might at some point.
Afraid it's too much for you, Gene. I think you better let it go.
Oh, no, I think we can arrange it. You see, Eddie's upstairs talking it over with his mother right now.
Yeah?
Mother dear, I know it's a good proposition. And if you'll give me the money, I'm positive that I won't fail.
Eddie, dear, I'm willing to give you anything. Anything in the world. But I cannot afford to risk it. You know this hotel hasn't been doing so well lately.
That's just the reason I want to go, Mom.
I want to leave you with this loser-ass hotel. I gotta go make it on my own.
I'm positive I'll make a success of it. You'll see. Oh, please.
When children leave home, they forget. Now take Kitty Lewis, for instance. She hasn't written to you, has she? Are you sure that you're not over anxious to be where she is? Are you?
Well, naturally, I want to be near her, Mother. You don't blame me, do you?
No. I don't blame you. She's a dear, sweet girl. And I know you love her.
Now listen, Mom. Give me the money, please. I'll just work my head off to make a success of everything. And I'll fix it so you can take things easy for the rest of your life. Hello, who is it?
God, look at that old phone. This was still when they were doing the separate earpiece and mouthpiece. Oh my god.
Oh, wait a minute, Gene. Those two men are going to leave in the morning. You see, they didn't say a word about it. Now, I've got to see them before they leave.
Where are they?
Well, they're down in the lobby. Oh, Mother, let me take the money, won't you? I'm sure everything will be okay.
Well, why not have the gentleman come up here?
All right. Hello, Gene. Have the gentleman come up to our rooms, will you? And listen, you come up too. Right.
Eddie, dear, I know you're anxious to do something big, but I'd loan you the money in a moment. But I cannot afford to lose it, and you cannot afford to fail.
Oh, don't you worry about me failing, Mother. I'm just sure everything's going to come out great. Come in, gentlemen.
Get in, Miss Morgan.
Mother, you know these two gentlemen, Mr. Dixon and Mr. Jackson.
How do you do?
How do you do? I think I've had the pleasure of meeting you. You're the gentleman in room 21, aren't you?
Yes, we
21.
are. 21.
Well, my son's been telling me of the wonderful proposition.
Yeah? It's a wonderful proposition, Mrs.
They're
Morgan.
definitely very confused about mixing the soundtrack in with the dialogue. Like, you can tell they can't quite figure out, like, where should we be starting and making this go up and down versus the dialogue starting and stopping? Because they're still probably stuck on sort of the language of the editing of silent film. And now that they have to add the, you know, language track, the dialogue, they're like, okay, how does this fit in? And I don't know if anyone else is noticing it, but it just doesn't sound quite right because, you know, it's early on, they're figuring stuff out.
And I think a young fellow like Eddie will do great.
A year later, everyone but the rich go bust. Yeah.
Absolutely. You see, he means two fellows like me and Eddie, Miss Morgan.
Yes, I see. Well, I think you're both very nice boys.
Thank you.
And I trust you implicitly.
Oh, they're lovely fellows, Miss Morgan. I've talked to them a great deal since they've been here.
Jesus, I thought sound mixing now was bad. Some nice B-roll of Times Square or wherever. Cool. Or Broadway, rather. Sorry.
Chinatown and the Bowery. $1 round trip. Come on, folks, everybody ride. See the Lower East Side and the Chinese Den. $1, folks. Round
Well, where'll we go?
I tell you, let's go upstairs to the Royal Cafe. Charles White lives up there.
Okay, baby. I got the little flat here.
Tonight for all the big show hits in town. Theater tickets. This is where we sell them inside. Step right in. Theater tickets. This is where we sell them. Get on the best seats for the big show.
Pardon me, officer.
Oh my god, it's the Monopoly Man.
But could you tell me where the other side of the street is?
Why, it's right over there.
That's strange. The fellow over there told me it was over here.
Come on, run along now before
Hydrate.
murder. Even X-ray paper all about the big police murder. X-ray paper, policemen killed by bootleggers, all about the big police murder.
Oh, Eddie? Eddie?
What's the matter?
Oh, another bootleg murder. Officer Thomas Kerwin, killed in the bootleg war.
That's just another reason that I want to get out of this place and this racket. If I'd have known 6 months ago what I know now, I wouldn't be here.
Maybe they should not be doing the prohibition part. That's also a thing to bring up.
Yeah. We're a couple of smart fellows.
Well, we thought we were buying a respectable barber shop and get hooked into a speakeasy and a warehouse for bottle goods.
Yeah. About the only thing I ever shave around this joint is labels off of bottles. It's a good thing for us they didn't try to sell us Central Park or Coney Island. Yeah. We're a couple of smart fellows.
Say, listen, Gene. If I didn't have my mother's money tied up in this thing, I'd quit right now. And believe me, as soon as I get even, I'm through.
Well, you and me both. But you see, we got tricked into this thing, Eddie. And we gotta go through with it.
How do you get tricked into buying a speakeasy? Shouldn't you go, like, I'm just saying, I don't think that prohibition was a good thing. I think that it led to so many fucking problems and was stupid and not a way to deal with people's alcohol issues. But if you buy one, can't you go to the police and be like, hey, I do not want to be involved in this. I had no idea what was happening, but someone sold me an illegal speakeasy. Like, if you don't want to be in this, you should have immediately, like, been like, hey, here's what happened.
See, we were tricked by a couple of fine gentlemen.
Yeah, we went into it too quickly.
There comes those two fine gentlemen now.
Look out they don't steal your watch.
And how are the little Tonsorial brothers today?
Great.
Yeah, that's true. They'd probably kill you.
All I
Fair
ask
enough.
is to get one of you birds in that chair.
They are
for
the
about a
mob.
minute.
Now, there's no use getting sore about it.
What do you expect us to do, kiss you? With the deal you handed out?
Well, you've got no kick coming. We split with you.
I don't want that kind of money.
No. And what we bought was a regular barber shop, not a speakeasy.
Well, here's your chance to have a regular shop. Did you see tonight's paper?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. You know, that's enough for Dan and me. You know, this town is going to be so hot from now on, you won't be able to live in it.
So this joint is yours. It's in your name anyway. Well, so long, Eddie. See you in church. Come on, Jake.
No, wait a minute, Dan.
Seems like
Aren't
they
you gonna
sold
say
it so
goodbye?
that on paper they didn't own it.
The best little barber in the country?
I hope you two guys spend your old age in jail. Imagine those eggs.
Hello? Oh, hello, Kitty. All right, honey. Well, I'll drive over and get you in the car. I'll meet you in front of the apartment. Yeah, you have plenty of time for the show. All right. That is Kitty. I'm going over and see her. I don't know what time I'll be back.
Well, at least you got somebody decent to go and talk to.
I'll see you later.
All right. Watch yourself, Eddie.
Another bootleg murder. You see, that's why I want you to quit that business. Sooner or later, the cops are going to find out that your barbershop's only a speakeasy.
Not gonna get a second take of that. Let's go back.
Cops are going to find out that your barbershop's only a speakeasy.
Film is money, people!
There's so many other things you
No one will even notice. Moving on.
can do, Eddie.
Oh, I know it, darling. And I am gonna quit. And when I do...
Movie making isn't about the little details, it's about the big picture. Nobody will even notice.
You quit that nightclub,
I feel like such a dick.
too.
Oh, you're right. I don't want to work there any longer than I have to. Oh, you know, Hawk Miller's always hanging around me.
Hawk Miller? Hawk Miller likes me. He's my friend. And besides, he knows that you're my girl.
You don't know Hawk
That felt like a very real snuggle. That didn't feel contrived. You're nailing it.
like I do. It's me like...
Oh, don't you be silly. He has a girl of his own, Molly. She's been his girl for years.
All right. But just remember that I told you.
Now, he's all right, honey. Besides, I don't want to have any trouble with him. I expect to sell him all my stuff.
Well, I want to get out of there as soon as possible. You know, it gets pretty rough. Fights, and everything. I get almost afraid sometimes.
Well, don't you be afraid of anybody, honey. Here. Look. I've had that for years.
That's
My
not...
father gave it to me to practice with when I was a kid.
You're...
If anybody annoys you, well, you just fire it in the air a couple of times and that'll scare them away.
That's terrible advice. Your dad gave you a gun and told you to shoot it into the air? If children bully you as a child? Oh no!
Cute, isn't it?
Oh, it's a cap gun, thank fuck. I just thought it was a tiny little tiny gun.
You come along, honey, it's getting late. You've got to get over to the cafe and do your stuff.
All right. Let's go. I'll be glad to get it over with. Gee, I hate that place.
Kissing in public. Degenerates. Oof. That film degraded a bit.
Say, Bob, I want you to be very careful who you let in here tonight. Make sure that everybody has a card.
Don't worry, Hawk. Leave it to me.
I feel like his hat didn't match his suit.
Now, folks, we're going to have the Dancing Pirate. And believe me, boys, take it from me, they'll take it from you.
They're just literally gonna show this whole thing, aren't they? Oh god.
Come in. Who is it?
Well, it ain't nobody else.
Now what do you want?
Well, I want a lot of things. But most of all, I want you.
Don't you ever get bored looking at me, Eddie?
Well, I get bored looking at anyone else but you. In fact,
Smooth.
I don't like anyone looking at you.
You know, I believe you're jealous.
You believe I'm jealous? And why shouldn't I be of the prettiest girl in the world? You know, someday, I'm going to have a nightclub all of my own,
Hydrate.
with no one in it to watch you but me.
Oh, no. You promised that we were all finished with nightclubs, didn't you, Eddie?
That's right, I did.
Well, that's settled. Now run along, dear, because I have to dress.
How about a little kiss? Now I'll run out and get my ringside seat.
He creeps me out. I feel like we're supposed to find them endearing, but I don't at all. He just gives me all the red flag vibes. I do not enjoy.
Now comes that horrible moment in every nightclub when the master of ceremonies feels a song coming on, and this is that horrible moment. You know that terrible time, and the girl, she leans over to escort and she says, "Daddy, give that boy $2." Well, here it is.
Oh, woo!
And at last, along see the gold sun sinking in the golden west. That's the time I really get to thinking that I'm heaven blessed. Long see the shadows rising, that means I've had my rest. And when I wake up in the early dawning, that's the time I love the best. All morning glory, tell them stories at dawning. And every day, weeks up lazy at dawning. Now when the evening shadows creeping, that's the time you feel like sleeping. Mr. Rooster wakes you up at dawning. They love is sweeter, life completer at dawn, dawning. Hearts are truer, love is newer at dawning. Why a man
The bar for entertainment sure was low. Yeah.
I'm correct you. Why
Maybe ours is very high.
you're yawning, and all you
You're here, so I guess it's not that much higher. You're still being entertained by watching it. There's just a layer of postmodern snark on top of it named Hannah. Like, you're still watching it. Reminds you of Brent Spiner? I can see that. That song was important to the plot, I'll have you know.
Hey, here comes the hawk. Better sit down. Say, listen, Hawk. I don't think we better take any chance with this stuff. You know it's old century, don't you? You don't think? You know we're not going to take any chances when a cop has been bumped off. Well, I didn't bump him off. Don't blame it on me. Shut up. Who asked you? He was killed, wasn't he? Sure, he was killed. Well, somebody's got to take the rap. The only evidence they have is those 12 cases of Old Century. And it's right here in this joint.
We were a bunch of saps to bring it here. We got to get rid of it.
That's just what I'm going to do. And I want you to handle it for me, Tommy.
What? Me? You must think I got marshmallows for brains, Hawk.
Why, you poor crumb. You're scared. You're afraid to take a chance.
Why don't you take it?
You take it, Sam. This guy's got a streak of yellow a yard wide.
Me? No, not me. Why don't you take it? Take it yourself. You know, when it comes right down to it, you killed the cops, you know. We didn't have anything to do with it, did we?
Shut up, will you? Will you pin those lips together and quit making those cracks about who bumped him off?
Well,
Get you guys a couple of megaphones.
I see a guy out there. Let's pin it on that guy, 'cause why not?
There's Eddie Morgan outside. Does that give you babies any ideas?
no, but it might give you an idea.
Yeah? Why?
Well, you know, Eddie runs that joint over on 46th Street. You know that.
And he's got a chicken that ain't so bad either. Maybe you could kill two birds with one stone.
Why, what do you mean, Tommy?
It's almost time to take my second dose of meds. I'm gonna eat a granola bar, because I'm supposed to eat it, or take it with food. So, just letting everyone know, that's why.
Now, you don't think for a minute that I would frame Eddie, do you?
No. You wouldn't frame anybody, Hawks. No, not you. It's a mistake.
Well, there's an idea there. If they find the goods here, it'll go pretty hard with you, Hawk.
Yeah, it won't go so easy for you two guys either. Now, listen. If they grab Eddie, we can help him if we're on the outside, can't we?
Sure, we could do that, yeah.
You're always a great guy for fixing things, Hawk. Supposing you do it.
Yeah, you better leave it to me.
Yeah, we'll leave it to you. We'll leave it right to you.
You guys make a sneak. I think I got an idea. But don't leave town.
Don't leave town?
Back in the day, the Reddit hat was the powdered wig. They were like, back then people had class, m'lady. Tip your powdered wig.
Why not?
Well, it might look bad.
Well, all right, we'll just hang around the joint, huh?
If you see Eddie Morgan out there, tell him I want to see him.
All right.
Hey, Eddie. The Hawk wants you in the office.
I'll see him a little bit later.
Look, Eddie, you better go in now. He wants to see you right away.
All right.
Harold Wienisman with 23 months says, did I miss Steamboat William? Unfortunately, you did, yes. The first half of the stream was all the Steamboat Willie stuff.
Hello, Hawk. Did you want to see me?
Yeah. Hi, Eddie. Come on inside.
What's on your mind?
Oh, nothing in particular. How's everything over the shop? All right?
Just fair. You know how it is.
I'll tell you what I want to see about, Eddie. I just got a tip from headquarters that I might be raided by federal men. Till it blows over.
Why, certainly. Why not? Where is it?
Right here.
There are only a few cases. Where's your car?
Right outside.
Good.
Does he genuinely not understand what he's being asked to do? Or does he just not care that he's going to be holding illegal stuff? Is he dumb, is what I'm asking? I thought that looked sus. I was like, those books don't look real. The cops are gonna figure that out immediately if they get into your place to search it. You think they're not gonna try and look in the fake drawers? These drawers don't seem to open, but the whole thing quite effortlessly goes up. I wonder if this is a hidden safe. Oh my god, there isn't even, it's just there. There isn't even like a door. You idiot, you're the worst criminal. You paid to have them install a fake shelf, but not like a lock behind it? What are you doing? What is this plan? It's okay, it's also behind a curtain, so.
Oh, I see. I'll take it over right now.
That's a good idea. Take it out the back way. Here's the key. I certainly appreciate this, Eddie.
Anytime at all, Hawk.
Thanks.
Look at how it's, like, that's great mechanism. I don't know if there's ball bearings or what, but it looks smooth. But you don't want your hidden booze cache to be behind a very satisfyingly smooth fake shelf. You want it to be very difficult to move.
Wait a minute, Kitty. I want to see you for a minute.
But please, Mr. Miller, I have to hurry.
Why the Mr. stuff, Kitty? Why, you're the coldest proposition I ever met. Why the icicles? Well, you ought to know that high hat stuff will never get you any place with me.
But I'm not trying to high-hat you, Mr. Miller. But I have to make...
Is this man a Weinstein?
Wait a minute, Kitty. I want to tip you off to something. Now, you're running around with that sap Eddie Morgan and wasting your time. What can he do for you? A piking bootlegger. Who was it that took you out of the chorus, huh? Me, wasn't it? Who was it that gave you a chance to lead numbers? Me.
You were working as a waitress in a cocktail bar.
Why,
Till I
can
met
fix you a
you.
Get you anything. And you run around with a baloney like that, Sim. Come on inside. And you run around with a baloney like that, Sim.
I know he's saying his name, but it sounds like he's calling him a simp, and it's a little funny to me.
Come on inside and sit down, huh?
Oh, I can't. I have to hurry.
Will you be back?
I'll try. Wait a minute, Hawk. You're a hound for chicken, ain't you?
Well, what do you want?
Nothing much. Only this. That kid don't want any part of you.
Hey, you mind your own business, will you? I'll take care of that kid.
So I see. But I'm warning you to stay off.
Yeah? Why?
Oh, I'm just warning you, that's all. You might get indigestion from too much chicken.
Well, if I get indigestion, it won't be from an old hen.
Oof.
Wait a minute. You didn't say that when you wanted the money to run this joint. You didn't say that when you wanted me to stick by you through all the tough times.
I'll say that, Gab.
You know, 'cause he's a liar.
Will you? Why don't you get yourself a tambourine and go out on the corner and peddle your blues?
Oof.
You be careful. that you're not singing the blues, Hawk. You think you can pick any chicken you want and throw me back in the deck.
Just very on this idea of calling the chorus girls chicken.
Can't do it. It ain't lucky.
Who said so?
I said so.
Yeah? Well, you said too much. Now you understand? We're through. I'm sick and tired of you sitting around this joint day in and day out, staring and watching every move I make. Now you beat it. I have important business to attend to.
So have I.
Hey, here comes two cops. You better duck.
There have been 0 non-white people in this movie, by the way. I don't know if anyone else noticed. I'm not surprised, it's just notable, you know. Hydrate. Hello, are you here to see my very real book collection? Please don't look at it.
Oh, boy. How are you? Sit down. Have a cigar.
Wow, he has a really good soundproof door.
Well, what's on your mind, boys?
Plenty. You heard about Pam Kerwin being bumped off, of course.
I certainly did. There's an extra out about it. Did you land the guy that did it?
No, but we will, Hawk.
Well, I hope so. It's pretty tough when a cop is bumped off. They're my best friend.
Yes, and it's going to be tough on the guy who did it.
Well, I hope
Cops are my best friend.
Got any ideas?
No. Have you?
Me? Why, what ideas would I have about a job like that?
I was thinking you might know something. And if you do know, it would be a good idea to talk.
Well, I ain't got nothing to say.
Well, I have. This killing was a bootleg job, and it concerns liquor. Until we know who killed that cop, we're going to...
He knows cops aren't his friends. He's being facetious. He's
every joint.
putting up a front.
This one first.
Gee, that's pretty tough, boys. Well, I'd like to help you. You got any clues?
Nothing much. The stuff they was after was old century. I haven't seen any before this job in 2 years.
Was the Hays Code already instituted? Actually, that's a good question. Let me look.
Yeah. There was a few cases missing. The ones that did the job took some of the stuff. See any around?
Oh, wow. It's almost like that was a terrible hiding place. Jesus. Not quite yet. Hays Code was instituted 1934 until 1968. It was adopted by some in 1930, but 1934 is when all of the major studios finally adopted it, it looks like. In 1927, however, the MPPDA, which I believe was sort of the precursor to the modern MPAA, put out a list of don'ts and be carefuls, so it was a softer version of the Hays Code, basically.
Surely you don't think that I would have any stuff like that lying around, do you? That or any other stuff?
We're not thinking anything, Hawk. But it's about time you began thinking. You probably could tell us plenty. So open your trap and say something.
Boys, you know I'm not a squealer, don't you? You know I've always been on the up and up, don't you?
Can I explain what the Hays Code is? Sure, the Hays Code was instituted by the Motion Picture Association, or its precursor. It was effectively a list of things that movies released by studios were not allowed to include. Let me look at the actual specific list for you. I'll give you some examples. Let's see. The code was divided... This is from Wikipedia. The code is divided into two parts. The first was a set of general principles which prohibited a picture from lowering the moral standards of those who see it, so as not to wrongfully influence a specific audience of viewers, including... not to wrongly influence a specific audience of views, including... women, children, lower class, and those of, quote, susceptible minds, called for depictions of the correct standard of life, and lastly forbade a picture to show any sort of ridicule towards a law, or creating sympathy for its violation. The second part was a set of particular applications, which was an exacting list of items that could not be depicted. Some restrictions, such as the ban on homosexuality, or the use of specific curse words, were never directly mentioned, but were assumed to be understood without clear demarcation. The code also contained an addendum commonly referred to as the Advertising Code, which regulated advertising copy and imagery. Homosexuals were de facto included under the proscription of sex perversion, and depiction of miscegenation, defined as sexual relationships between the, quote, black and white races, were forbidden. It also stated that the notion of adults-only policy would be a dubious, ineffective strategy that would be difficult to enforce. However, it did allow that mature minds may easily understand and accept without harm subject matter in plots which does younger people positive harm. If children were supervised and the events implied, elliptically, the code allowed the possibility of a cinematically inspired thought crime. That's certainly a fucking sentence, isn't it? Basically, it's like rules that they had to follow. Like, these things are socially acceptable and these things are not, so here's what you can depict in your films.
Why, I wouldn't hurt a pal for the world. But when it comes to killing a cop, I'm against it.
Well, come on.
You say the guy that did the job got away with some cases of old century?
Yes.
Well, I might be able to help you. I think I got a clue.
Where? Who?
I can't say just now, but you know where the White Way barber shop is, don't you?
Over on 46th Street?
Right. Well, you be there at 10 o'clock, and I might show you something interesting. Get me?
Midway Barber Shop at 10 o'clock, huh?
Right.
That shot of her face almost looked like it came from an older camera. Or they smeared a bunch of Vaseline on the lens or something. Did a weird vignette.
Hey, the cops were just here.
Yeah, I know they were. We saw them. What do they want?
Crosby knows something.
He does?
Yes.
Sit down. Now, we've got to cover ourselves up. I've planted the stuff in Eddie's shop.
Yeah?
And the Dicks will be there at 10 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
But they must not find Eddie.
What do you want us to do?
I want you guys to make him disappear.
Disappear?
Well, certainly. If they don't find him, it will cinch everything for us.
I'm surprised they're so like, what, we have to murder a guy? Like, yeah, you're bootleggers. You've never killed someone before? Isn't that like your job, is to run liquor and kill people who get in your way?
Don't you understand?
What, you mean...
Take him for a ride.
Oh.
Bryant. No, operator, 424. Yes. Hello? Hello, is Eddie there? Bring him to the phone quick. This is Kitty. Yes. Hello, Eddie? Listen, the Hawk framed you. Oh, I'm telling you he did. I heard him. Yes.
The use of a telephone as a plot device. I wonder how often that had been used prior to this. Like, this is, you know, almost the 30s, so certainly it had been done. But it's interesting to think about the telephone as a plot device as a relatively new invention.
Coming down to the barber shop at 10 o'clock. Yes. Oh, listen to me, Eddie, please.
Like, she can warn him immediately, something that she could not have done, like, just some decades earlier, or a decade earlier, if they didn't own their own phones. Most bootleggers hated violence that was for the muscle to take care of, but, like, the muscle are the people they hired, right? Like, aren't the bootlegger, like, they are the muscle. That's why I was surprised. It seemed like they were hired to be the muscle, and they were surprised that they were being told to do that.
Where's Eddie?
Well, he was here a while ago. He went out with a couple of guys.
Is bootlegger just the name for the driver?
Yeah.
That's my bad then. I thought it meant anyone involved in, like, the running illegal alcohol during Prohibition. That's on me.
Well, I think I'll stick around a while.
All right, Hawk. Make yourself at home.
Yeah, two-way radios.
Have you landed
Yeah,
new police?
they had police phones and stuff they had to call. In the UK, they had police phone boxes, which had phones, and, you know, you could lock someone in there, or a cop could go in there and eat their lunch or whatever. So, yep.
Is that yet?
Fenekigami says, the funny thing about the Hays Code is that when its enforcement really ramped up and another moral panic set in, the comic book industry developed and enforced their own version of the Hays Code to avoid censorship from outside forces. This led to the Silver Age of comics, which is why that period is particularly campy, and is also why the Joker became more of a prankster, and is where a lot of his gimmicks set in. Yes, the Comics Code Authority became a thing.
Get a load of that third page.
Same thing happened later with video games also in the 90s, which started the ESRB.
Not bad, eh?
Hello, Eddie. Hello, Hawk. Did you get the stuff down all right?
Certainly. Everything's Jake? Why?
Oh, nothing. Just want to make sure that you had it, that's all.
That ain't all, Hawk. You thought you'd put something over on me, didn't you?
You're just gonna tell him you know?
Me. Why, you're all excited about nothing. You ought to know me better than that, old pal. Haven't I always been on the up and up with you?
No!
Why, I can't understand what you mean.
I mean just this. You tried to frame me. You knew the cops were looking for Old Century. That's the reason you wanted me to plant it in this joint.
Now, don't get excited. Don't get excited. Why, somebody must be kidding you.
Yeah? Well, that may be so. It may not be so. But I protected myself.
You what? You got the stuff, didn't you?
I told you yes. But when the cops get here...
Cops? Now, who said anything about cops?
They don't try to pull that on me.
Med time.
You know the Dicks will be here at 10 o'clock.
Oh, you're crazy.
Yeah, well, maybe I am and maybe I'm not. That doesn't make any difference. I'm just crazy enough to know that you're the guy that bumped off that cop.
Ooh, couldn't get that down.
Why, you
Sorry.
poor chump. You're hooked. Yes, and you're hooked good. Because when the Dicks get here and find the stuff, they'll grab you. And I'll grab Kitty.
Yeah, don't make me that. They'll take nobody but you. Because Kitty quit your joint tonight, and I dumped the stuff in the river. What do you think of that?
Why, you can't get away with that stuff where you haven't got a chance.
Got him. The gun earlier was Chekhov's gun. Cool. Archie Comics was the last company to stop paying into the CCA in January 2011. Who was keeping the lights on at the CCA? Like, who worked there and was like, yes, this is a good use of my time?
Give me a hand, Eddie. It's too late. What do we do?
I don't know. Here, put him in that chair. Got him?
Slip him up.
Listen,
Yeah?
stall as long as you can. I've got to make a getaway.
Okay.
How'd he die? He got shot. Why do you not just explain what's I mean, I get it. They're cops, and it's the, like, not only are they cops, but it's cops from the 20s, so I get it, but, like, I feel like you're making this so much worse for yourself.
My next?
Well, yes, sir. But, you'll have to wait. I just started on this gentleman.
All right, I'll wait.
You see, he wants a massage, too.
I'll wait.
All right. Yes, sir. That was certainly a great game. Made 2 runs in the 9th inning. Made the score 2-1. Great game tomorrow, too. That's all right, old man. Go ahead and sleep. I'll wake you up when I'm through with you.
Don't know who this Chekhov is, but he's an accessory to a lot of murders. That must have been an incredible shot to kill him with that tiny-ass gun. For Weekend at Bernie's-ing. Oh, that was pretty good. That was good rigid dead body acting. Good for that guy.
It's Hawk Miller. He's dead. What is it?
they all say. You better speak up and save yourself a lot of grief. How did it happen?
Well, all I know, Eddie and me was in here talking, and the Hawk comes in. There was a lot of conversation about old Century.
Oh, didn't know that,
The
Lucas.
Hawk makes
Thanks.
a crack about Eddie's dame, Kitty. And the Hawk goes for his rod, and then he got shot.
By Eddie?
Oh, I don't know who done it, but it wasn't Eddie.
Eddie Morgan did it, and you know he did it. Where is he?
I don't know.
Where is he?
Oh, he went out that door.
Collins, take charge. I'll grab this guy, Eddie, before he knows where he stands.
Now, listen, Chief, honest to God, I don't know who croaked him.
Oh, listen.
I wasn't in on the play. I don't know nothing.
Well, what are you squawking about? Everything will be all right.
I know.
Calm yourself. Don't
Kitty, we've got to get out of here now, quickly. Pack up the things and let's go.
I know. Hawk Miller.
How do you know?
Do you have a search warrant? A what? It's the 20s. Shut up.
you hurry. You're not going anywhere. Well, Eddie, looks like I caught up with you, don't it?
I do not consent to your jurisdiction. I refuse to contract with you,
Of
sir.
course you have. You must take me for an awful boob. I just left your barber shop. Hawk Miller is dead. He was killed with this. Come on. Let's go.
Oh, no. Don't take him. He didn't do it. Honest, he didn't do it.
No? Then who did?
Why?
Keep quiet, Kitty.
She doesn't have to say anything. Neither do you. I got proof enough to send you to the chair. Come on. Both of you.
Yeah, whoever called it, called it.
The wrong people.
What do you mean?
I mean,
Xandris.
they've got nothing to do with the killing of Hawk Miller.
Xandris called it.
How do you know?
I guess I'm the one person who ought to know because I did it.
You? I don't believe it. He was your man, wasn't he?
Wait, they can do that?
He was my man. But no, I loved him. But I couldn't stand his loving somebody else. When he told me he was through with me, I made up my mind he was through with all women. So when Kitty here was doing our number, I went to her dressing room and took her gun and followed him to the barber shop. Then I heard him tell Eddie he was going to kill him and take his girl. Oh, I must have gone mad. I was jealous. I was crazy. I killed him. He was no good. But I loved him.
He had it coming. He had it coming.
He's gone now.
He only had himself to blame.
Double-crossed crossing him. He was the one who killed the policeman. Tomlin.
He did?
He did.
Are they straight up gonna let her go? Because that'll be fucking hilarious, and I am so on board if she just gets let go. Because that guy was a dick.
Come on, let's get it over. I'm not afraid. I've lived. And I've loved. And I've lost.
Molly, you're all right. Certainly saved these kids. You both will take my tip and get out of this city. Don't you see how close you've been to tragedy? Get out.
I almost arrested you.
Trees and flowers, mountains. Leave the roaring 40s to roar without.
You're right, Mr. Crosby. We're going to leave the first chance we get. We've made our minds up. We want to do right for each other and everyone else. There's no luck in anything else.
Right. Come on, Molly. I don't think it's going to be so tough for you. There was a reward for the killer, dead or alive. Besides, you've saved the state a lot of expense, the cost of an electrocution. I'm going to see that you get a break. And I don't think you've got much to worry about.
So she gets paid for this then, right? That's hilarious. I'm very in favor of that. That's so funny.
Don't forget the train to the country.
He's certainly had a cadence of speaking. Saved us a lot of money and time on that stupid due process thing.
We'll fly.
Well, that was interesting. Like, it's certainly not something I would watch on its own merit, but for its historical importance, it's pretty interesting. Definitely not going to watch this whole thing. It's another silent film. But I did want to point out that The Man Who Laughs is now in the public domain as well, which has the character that is often cited as an inspiration for the Joker, if you're not familiar. The Joker look, yes, specifically. Oh, hey, Lou. What else? Charlie Chaplin's The Circus is now in public domain. Lupine left. Lupine. Lupine. Lou. Okay. And I think that's going to be it for the day. Those are the major ones. There are some other films, most of them silent. Notable include Joan of Arc, but we're not going to watch that on stream. So that's Public Domain Day 2024. Can't wait for the upcoming years. More and more cool stuff's coming out. So love you too, Mr. Blast. Let's see who we're going to raid on Twitch, shall we? Wow, I haven't been able to raid Blizz in a long time. Wow. Alright. Have a great night, everyone. I will be back soon. Oh, what do we have to cover? We have to cover John Doyle's new video. People have been asking about, like, the Epstein flight list stuff, but, like, I don't really have anything to say about it, because, like, what do you want me to say? There's people that went on the plane. I didn't know what to tell you about it. But we gotta finish Pickup Artist. And then who knows what else. So, alright, have a great night, everyone. See y'all later. And, stay cool. Bye-bye.